My name is Rachel Pierce. I'm 29 years old, and this is how I took revenge on the friend who told me I was too fat to be seen at her wedding. I remember the exact moment I opened Lila's email. It was a rainy Tuesday afternoon, and I was at work, just coming back from lunch. I saw the subject line, "Quick wedding update," and smiled like an idiot. I thought it was going to be dress choices, or something funny about the flower girl. We'd been best friends since freshman year of college. She'd always said I'd be her maid of honor. We used to plan her future wedding during late-night wine nights like it was some fairy tale. We were both building. But then I read the message, and my world cracked open. After thinking about the aesthetic of the bridal party, it began, "We've decided not to include you as a bridesmaid. The dresses won't be flattering on everyone. I hope you understand." I read it 3 times, thinking maybe I was misreading. But there it was, in plain black and white. Not even a phone call. Not even sign "Love, Lila." Just, "I hope you understand." I didn't. I couldn't. My chest went tight. I felt that old, familiar burn of shame creeping up my neck. The one I thought I'd buried in high school locker rooms and backhanded family comments. I wasn't just hurt. I was humiliated. Then I clicked over to our bridesmaid group chat, the one we'd been using for months. It was gone. I'd been removed. Just like that. I opened Instagram. My hand shook as I scrolled. There it was, a story from one of the other bridesmaids. The bachelorette weekend. A cabin in the woods. The one they told me was canceled due to budget stuff. Lila was in the center of the photo, beaming, surrounded by the same girls who used to say we were the trio. That was when the shock wore off. My heart went cold. My stomach knotted in a different way. They said I didn't fit the look, so I decided to give them a look they'd never forget. I was never the skinny girl, and in our friend group, that meant I got a different role. The funny one, the supportive one, the one who'd take your photos but never be in them. I didn't mind, not at first. It felt like a part I understood how to play. I met Lila freshman year of college. We were randomly assigned as roommates, and from day one, we clicked. She was tall, slim, glowy, the kind of girl people noticed in coffee shops and asked if she modeled. I was the one holding her purse while she posed, and I didn't resent her for that. She had this magnetic charm, and I was the grounded one. She pulled attention. I kept everything from falling apart behind the scenes. We became inseparable. We'd make Pinterest boards of our future weddings, laugh about ugly bridesmaid dresses, joke that we'd be each other's maids of honor. No question. I thought that meant something. I thought we were chosen family over the years. My weight went up and down, depending on how stressed I was, what job I had, what city I lived in. But I never really hated my body. Not until Lila started making it clear that maybe she did. At first, it was subtle. A comment here, a look there. Like, let's take one more. But with you in the back this time, the lighting's better. Or when we were shopping, she'd say, that's cute, but maybe something more structured. For your shape. Always with a smile. Always like she was trying to help. But I stayed loyal. I planned her birthdays, remembered her anniversaries, took late-night calls when she was crying over a guy who ghosted her. And when Zach came into the picture, I was there for all of it. Even when I saw the signs, the flirty texts with other women, the weird absences, I kept my mouth shut. Because she said, please don't ruin this for me. So I didn't. I kept her secrets. When she got engaged, I moved cities to be closer. I helped pick colors, cakes, and booked the florist when hers dropped out. I poured hours into planning her bridal shower, called vendors, sourced centerpieces, stayed up late putting together personalized favors. I did it all because she was my best friend, because I thought that meant something. And then that email landed in my inbox. No conversation, no warning, just cold, curated wording about how I didn't fit the aesthetic. And the kicker, I was supposed to be her maid of honor. We promised each other that. 10 years of friendship, 10 years of loyalty, tossed aside like I was a threat to her curated bridal fantasy. I kept asking myself what changed. What did I do wrong? And the answer hit me like a slap. Nothing. I just didn't look how she wanted me to in the photos. That realization hollowed me out. All those years I was good enough to fix her problems, carry her secrets, clean up her messes, but not good enough to stand beside her on her big day. It wasn't about a dress. It was about erasure. It was about shame. And it was about the moment I realized I was done being the background of someone else's life. I called her right after I read the email, hands shaking, heart pounding, straight to voicemail. I tried again. Nothing. So I texted, what is this? No response. I waited. Hours passed. Then a voice note finally came through. I didn't even recognize her tone at first, cold, rehearsed, like she was reading from a script. I'm sorry you're hurt, but you don't understand the pressure I'm under. The photos will last forever. I need everything to be perfect. Please don't make this about you. That last line sliced deeper than the email. Don't make this about you. I stared at my phone like it had insulted me personally. My chest tightened. I felt this mix of rage and humiliation flooding my whole body. I couldn't move. I couldn't think. I just sat there, in my silent apartment, crying into the same blanket Leela gave me years ago during finals week. The irony. I went back through our old texts, birthday messages, late-night confessions, old photos of us making dumb faces with mud masks on. All those memories, how quickly they turned into proof that I had always been disposable. My mom called to check in. I wanted to tell her everything, but all I said was, yeah, I'm fine. Just tired. Because how do you explain being gutted by someone who used to be your entire support system? And then came the final blow. A friend sent me a TikTok. No caption, just you seen this? I opened it. Lila's bridal party. Laughing, twirling in a boutique, trying on pale pink dresses. Dresses I helped her pick out. Ones she told me probably wouldn't work for everyone. The caption on the TikTok. When your bride tribe is perfect. I stared at that video, my stomach churning. I wasn't just excluded. I was erased, rewritten out of her narrative like I never mattered. And in that moment, everything came back. Every comment she ever made about angles, about standing behind her, about good lighting for all of us, every dig she'd disguised as a joke. I remembered how many times I dimmed my joy, my style, my voice just to let her have the spotlight. I made myself smaller so she could shine. But not anymore. I wiped my face, stood up, and looked in the mirror. My eyes were red, my cheeks blotchy. But underneath it all, there was something else. A spark. I was erased like I never mattered. But I remembered every insult. Every moment I played small to make her shine. And I was done hiding. I didn't go full revenge mode right away. I wish I could say I picked myself up instantly, head high, middle finger raised. But that's not how it happened. First, I fell apart. I stopped looking in mirrors, stopped going to work. I told HR I had the flu. It was easier than explaining I couldn't get out of bed because my heart had been shattered by someone who wasn't even my lover, just my best friend. The kind of heartbreak nobody warns you about. I binged TV shows I didn't even like, ate whatever was closest, slept too much or not at all. Days blurred. I muted Leela on everything. But that didn't stop the algorithm from showing me her smiling face. Asterisk hashtag bride vibes asterisk. On mutual friends feeds. The wedding was still happening, with everyone but me. Eventually, I realized I couldn't keep hiding from myself. One night, at 2 a.m., I Googled body positive support group and found a small online community for fitness and self-worth that focused on movement, not weight loss. Their tagline was, asterisk move like you love yourself, even if you don't yet. Asterisk it hit me hard. I signed up for their beginner 5K program, fully expecting to quit after 2 days. But something about moving, not to shrink, but to feel stuck. I started walking again, then jogging. Just a few blocks at first, but each one felt like a little rebellion. I began therapy, too. Real therapy, not just venting to friends. I told a stranger about how I felt disposable, about the way I'd always played second string in my own life. She didn't flinch, just nodded, handed me a journal, and said, write it all down. Get it out of your body. So I did. Somewhere along the way, I met Mason. He posted in the group offering free empowerment photo shoots to women on their self-love journey. On your terms. He said, no Photoshop, just truth. At first, I declined. Then I thought, asterisk what if I do it for me? Asterisk I picked a date. Bought a dress that didn't hide anything. Mason didn't tell me to pose or smile. He just said, show me how it feels to finally take up space. The shoot changed me. When I saw the photos, I didn't just see myself. I saw every version of me I ever hated. And finally, I didn't feel shame. I felt proud. I posted just one. Me standing barefoot in a field, soft stomach, wild curls, chin up. The caption? Asterisk they told me I didn't belong in the picture. So I made my own. Asterisk I expected silence. Instead, I woke up to hundreds of comments, then thousands. You're stunning. This made me cry. I needed this today. People I'd never met were tagging their friends, calling it brave. Calling asterisk me asterisk brave. It was the first time in my life I felt seen, for real. Meanwhile, wedding chatter kept circling back. Mutual friends messaged me awkwardly. Hey, did you see Lila's rehearsal dinner pics? One even said, I don't understand why she cut you. Everyone's talking about it. I stayed silent. I didn't want to give her the attention. Not yet, then I saw it. Someone posted a screenshot from a dating app. A profile picture of Zach. Active. Swiping. Same cheesy smile. Same bio. Asterisk looking for something real. Asterisk it was time stamped a week before their wedding. The woman who posted it didn't know me. But I saved it anyway. I didn't send it to Leela. I didn't say a word. I just let the truth sit there, like a match waiting for the right strike. And somewhere between healing and silence, I met someone new, James. He was part of the fitness group. Kind, observant, with a dry humor that cracked through my walls. He didn't compliment my body. He complimented my resilience. He didn't ask what size I wore. He asked what I dreamed about. One night, over coffee after a group run, he said, "You don't need fixing, Rachel. You need to be celebrated." That line stuck with me, because maybe revenge didn't mean fire and fury. Maybe it meant becoming the version of myself they never believed could exist. And maybe, just maybe, the best revenge was still on its way. 1 year later, I was planning my own wedding. Nothing massive. No over-the-top theme. No fake smiles or color-coordinated drama. Just me, James, and the people who truly mattered. People who had seen me through the worst and still showed up with joy in their hearts. We picked a little venue by the lake. Wild flowers, soft music, and no expectations except love. Then I got a text. It was from an unknown number, but I knew exactly who it was connected to. "You're getting married." Lila's freaking out. She thought you'd fade away after everything. I sat with that message for a moment, reading it over and over. Fade away? No. I'd done the exact opposite. My life was brighter now. Bigger, deeper, and for once. It wasn't because I'd earned someone's approval. It was because I'd finally stopped needing it. Still, something inside me stirred. Not bitterness, not hate, just clarity. So I designed a custom wedding invitation. Not the generic ones we mailed out. This one was different. Simple white cardstock, embossed gold edges. On the front, just her name. Asterisk Leila Harper. Asterisk inside, in elegant calligraphy. It said, "You didn't want me in your wedding, but I wanted you to see mine." I sealed it with a wax stamp, sent it to her office address, then didn't think about it again. Until the day came. The air was warm. The lake shimmered. I wore a flowing ivory gown, not tight or slimming, just honest and soft and completely me. My friends flanked me in shades of gold and rose, all different body types, all beautiful. When I stepped out to walk down the aisle, arm in arm, with my mother, I saw her, Leila, sitting in the very back row, sunglasses on, frozen in place. She wasn't supposed to come. I didn't expect her to. But there she was, watching. I didn't smile at her. I didn't glare, either. I just kept walking, eyes ahead, toward the man who saw all of me and chose me anyway. James stood waiting. We said our vows. We laughed. We cried. The wind picked up at just the right moment, lifting my veil like a movie scene. And when it was time for pictures, guess who stepped up? Mason. He was our photographer. Of course he was. He knew my journey better than anyone. He captured every moment with care, from the teary speeches to the impromptu dance circle. But there was one shot that changed everything. I had just smashed cake onto James' nose. He returned the favor. We were both laughing like kids, frosting everywhere. Mason snapped it, me with cake on my nose, James kissing my cheek, joy radiating from our skin. He posted it later that week, tagging me and writing, *bride energy isn't about the size of your dress. It's about the size of your love. The photo got picked up by a bridal magazine, then a few blogs. Then it went viral. Messages poured in from strangers, people who had been told they were too much or not enough. People who said, "This gave me hope." I didn't respond to Leila. I didn't need to. She saw the life I built. Not a fantasy, but a real, breathing, beautiful life. One she couldn't edit, crop, or control. That was my revenge, and I didn't have to say a word. After the wedding, things moved faster than I expected, not just in my life, but in the way the world started to respond to me, the photo Mason took. The one of me laughing with frosting on my nose, James leaning in, kissing my cheek, started showing up everywhere. At first, it was just a few reposts. Then it hit a bridal blog. Then a women's magazine did a whole piece on redefining bridal beauty. I didn't plan any of it. I wasn't trying to be seen. But somehow, for the first time in my life, I was asterisk. Without shrinking, without apologizing. A few days later, I got a DM. It was from Leela. "You looked amazing," she wrote. "I've been thinking a lot about us. I hope we can reconnect someday." I stared at it for a minute. Not out of anger. Not because I wanted revenge, just disbelief. There it was. The pattern again. The reaching out when the spotlight shifted. The attempt to rewrite the past when the present made her uncomfortable. I didn't reply. Not because I was bitter, but because I finally understood I didn't owe her closure. Instead, I posted a carousel on my page. 8 photos from the wedding. Me and James dancing under string lights. My best friend holding my bouquet while crying. My grandma with a glass of champagne, toasting to Rachel, the strongest woman I know. In the caption, I wrote, asterisk, the people who see your shine will never ask you to dim it. Asterisk, it resonated. Women started messaging me, not just to compliment the photos, but to share their own stories. The bridesmaid dresses they weren't invited to wear. The birthdays they weren't aesthetic enough to be part of. The family photos they were asked to sit out of. So I did something I never thought I'd have the confidence to do. I created a small mentorship group online, a space for women who had been excluded, body shamed, or made to feel invisible. We called it asterisk full frame asterisk. Every week, I shared tools, not weight loss tips, but confidence prompts, outfit styling for joy, not judgment, mindset work. Sometimes just holding space for women who had never been told they were enough as they were. It filled me up in a way I didn't expect. Meanwhile, James and I moved into our first home. Nothing huge. A small house with creaky floors and a kitchen that smelled like cinnamon in the mornings. I hung up our wedding photos in the hallway. I printed one of me alone, mid-laugh, in full light. I put it above my desk. Every time I walk by, I remember who I became and who I'll never be again. I don't think about Leela much anymore. She taught me something important, not about betrayal, but about boundaries. I'll never again shrink to fit into someone else's version of what's beautiful, what's acceptable, what's worthy. Because now I know I was always more than enough. She just never had the eyes to see it. It's raining outside, soft and steady. The kind of morning that invites reflection. I sit by the window, wrapped in James's hoodie, the one he had custom made for me after the wedding. Across the chest, in bold lettering, it says "Worthy Bride." I never thought a sweatshirt could make me cry when I first saw it. Now, it's my armor, my comfort, my reminder. I take a slow sip of coffee, watching the raindrops race down the glass, and my eyes drift to the mantel. There's a photo there, one of my favorites from that day. I'm in the middle of a laugh, mouth open, eyes crinkled. James is looking at me like I'm made of gold. My dress flows around me like I was born to wear it. And I think back to that cold little email that tried to shrink me into silence. That moment of rejection that felt so personal, so final, like someone had closed the door on my worth. I remember sitting in my apartment, blinds drawn, heart cracked open like a wound. I remember wondering if maybe I was the problem. Too loud, too soft, too fat, too visible. But I was never the problem. I was just in the wrong frame. I thought I'd spend forever waiting to be invited to someone else's picture, waiting to fit in, waiting to be chosen. I never realized I had the power to build my own frame, to fill it with people who saw me, loved me, celebrated